Joining us now with reaction, Fox News contributor, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mr. Secretary, you never would have allowed it to get to this point. When the Taliban moved 4 inches out of where their space was allocated in an agreement, we know what would have happened. The fate of Soleimani, the fate of Baghdadi, the fate of the al-Qaeda leader in Yemen, and the fate of the ISIS caliphate would have been their fate. So they watched this unfold for months, 20% of the, 50% of the country, and they didn't lift a finger. Then they took Kabul. And still, Joe Biden, when he had an opportunity to get everyone out and get them out while he had control, he didn't do it. Your reaction?
Sean, this debacle didn't have to be. This is a direct result of an arbitrary political decision to set a firm date to get out without even considering how you were going to get every American out. The fact that we're hearing from Americans who are still on the ground, and we've got great Americans now risking their own lives to try and help extract them after the United States has given up all of its leverage, all of its capacity to get these people home. This is a debacle of extraordinary proportions, and the fact that our commander-in-chief has chosen not even to talk about this ongoing challenge of returning what is likely to be hundreds and hundreds of U.S. persons from Afghanistan is truly tragic.
Somebody just hands me an article. Hannity supports militias. No, we have retired special ops. We have some of the best trained American soldiers, retired, that are now willing to go back in the field, go out behind enemy lines, and support Americans. They get them to a plane, they want to take off, Qatar's willing to take them, and the State Department, you know the State Department says no? They become an obstacle? How is that possible?
Sean, it's incomprehensible. It is so confounding to think that it's not even about being an obstacle. Why the entire United States government is not focused on getting every single American out of there, lifting every stone, demanding that the Taliban release these folks, not bribing them, not begging them, but imposing American power on them. This is what our administration would have done. We would have made very clear that if you touch an American, you threaten an American, you don't allow an American to get on an airplane and get home, we're going to make your life miserable. Instead, it seems like legal niceties, statements, press releases. This is the stuff of American power under President Biden. This is an enormous mistake. It will cause more Americans to be at risk all across the world. And sadly, these U.S. persons who are sitting inside Afghanistan today, who want just to get back to freedom, are going to struggle to do so. And I fear for the worst. I hope for the best.
Should Americans support these organizations, retired military, that are willing to risk their lives? I want to support them. I'm grateful. I'm in awe of their bravery and courage.
I'm deeply grateful for their efforts. The United States should support them. The United States government should support them when they've got an aircraft, as described before, with a couple of dozen seats for a couple dozen Americans to go home to their families. This is the kind of thing the U.S. government should not only encourage, but should applaud. We should thank them for their efforts. We should support everything they're doing to try and assist every one of these Americans to get home.
God willing, we wouldn't have abandoned him. You would have obliterated him with Donald Trump. That I can tell every American.
We would have never been here, Sean.
Never in a million years.